It's Friday. I always make sure I walk near to work on like Fridays and Saturdays, because a lot of times there's still like maniacs hanging around from like partying like the night before. And we just ran into one at the lights. And they just, some people just looking for people to talk to or to interact with because they're all fucked up. So, yeah, I'm glad I was with her, I was watching something yesterday, and it's not what it was about, but just offhand, the kid mentioned how the internet is a forever archive. And you hear that, people say that a lot too. The internet's forever, man. Like if someone's doing something they think is embarrassing, or the internet's forever. It's not forever. Not even close. When I hear someone say that, it just tells me that they don't use the internet for anything but social media and like Spotify. Because if you do any kind of research at all, you know that it has not been a forever archive for at least 10 years. They've been slowly deleting the whole thing. There's been there's a couple of videos that float around on YouTube about it, how they're deleting the internet, and they break it down exactly what's going on. But yeah, I've noticed this like 10 years ago. And the reason I know is because of my one of my old bands I used to run social media accounts for, and I've had to do things along the timeline. We did a sort of best of release in 2019, so I was going through old websites looking for old pictures and things that I could put on our social media accounts. We have a Facebook and a couple Instagrams and just whatever, the regular shit. And I'd have pages saved. Old websites we used to own, we used to be on the old official site. Then we'd have all these different other sites, gallery sites, just all kinds of stupid shit. But so I'd save them, I'd bookmark them in my favorites. And when I started going back there to pull photos, it would be gone. And then what I did is I'd go to the Internet Archive, the Wayback Machine. That's a great resource. I'm blown away that a lot of people don't know about it. But just further evidence that most people just fucking do social media and listen to music. Because like, the thing I wonder is how college kids deal with this situation. I'm getting up the path up. So I would save pages, and when I go back to them, they would be gone. So I started accessing these pages through the Wayback Machine. What the Wayback Machine does in the archive is it trolls like a trawler around the internet and takes photos of what's currently there in that web space. And through that, you can access old stuff. They don't take the whole site, but they'll take a picture of maybe one or two pages. So what I used to do is, as long as there was a page it would take a picture of, I'd just use the links to get to the other parts. And there's ways to go into a website using the Internet Archive. Like if there's a page you can find, you can type in the address and go in there like back door. You can go into the whole site and see all the images and stuff. But they started deleting those. Those started disappearing from the Internet Archive. So first it just started on the regular internet, and then the archive site they started taking things out of. And now it's like, I haven't checked in a while because I haven't done anything with the old band accounts since 2019 was the last time I really looked around at stuff. I bet, and every time I would go, more would be missing, just gone. And yeah, it's a stupid thing, but it's a good example of, showing how it's happening, how they delete stuff. And it's not just like old pictures or whatever, documents, all kinds of things. As one of those conspiratorial type people, I do videos here, and I'd look for stuff, like I'd be talking about something, and I'd go trying to find it to put up on the screen like I do. and just not be able to find a lot of things that I used to see even 5 years ago. The last time that happened, I was talking about the NASA using hydrogen balloons as their rockets and shit. And there was a picture of a rocket, like, on the pad, on the launch pad, that had deflated. And yeah, I used to see it all the time. It made the rounds for a while. And when I made that video talking about it, I couldn't find it. I think I even mentioned it in there. And there's a lot of other, like, research papers and things. Like, you're thinking about, like I said earlier, the college students. I don't know, how do they deal with it? Because I know they have to research things, right, for their classes. Well, I don't know how the fuck college works now. They might not even have to do that. But anyone that pays attention to the internet beyond video games, music, and social media knows that it's slowly being deleted, and has been for at least 10 years. And it's ramping up. Every year that goes by, more of it is vanishing. Yeah, I'll put a link to those videos. You can check them out. He's a lot more articulate than me and can explain it. But this is a cool banyan tree, huh? He can explain it to you, but he won't be able to show you a banyan tree. I can now. I could live in there. Wouldn't that be awesome? Put a little, well, actually not with these birds. Hear the birds? There's banyan trees over in the park that you can go right up to. Like, this one is roped off, obviously. But the ones in the park you can go right up to and go inside and stuff. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I've been researching, God, really my whole life. Working as a civil engineer, a big part of the job was research. Because before you'd go to a site, a property, you'd have to dig up all the information you could on it. I wasn't a civil engineer, but I worked as one. Meaning I didn't have the school or certificates or anything. But yeah, I did that for like 20 plus years, almost 30 years. Started like at 16. And a big part of it was research. Before you go to the job, you'd have to pull up all the information you could about a house or a property. And, you know, not to get into the boring shit about it, but you'd oftentimes end up in a town hall or a library in a basement looking at microfiche, or those big giant books, those big field books that takes 2 guys to open. But at the time, I had my normie lenses on, so I didn't think twice about why we had to get on a stepladder and both lift the book down. Now you'd be like, what the fuck? Why is this so big? Who are carrying these field books? And field books are things you use outside in the field, hence the name. And we're like, well, who would be? It would have to be a giant. Yes. So anyway, we'd end up in these dusty basements. There was one place in Salem, Mass. that was really cool. The Registry of Deeds there was in the town hall. And they had a basement you go into, and then the basement they had a giant vault door that looked like something from an old bank, like an old, like you know, you'd seen an old bank robber movie. And inside was all these like books, like stuff they had to have, like to stuff we had to have to do work, you know. And they had all the books in there, all the giant books. The older the stuff was, it went into this vault, because the more, you know, rare it is, or the more frail they are, you know. But yeah, so that's how I started doing research. So getting on the internet in the early 90s, there really wasn't much there. Actually, yeah, the old internet. Like, I didn't get internet in my house where I was living until 98. But I had friends that had it, and I put up my first website for a band I was in, the same band I was just talking about before. It was like a precursor, whatever the fuck. in 1996, I put the first website up. I remember making these flyers, advertising the website, which is like, why? Because no one even knows what it was. And the web address was ridiculous. It was like a paragraph, / TX / usernet 1 /. And people would look at the flyers. It was just for fun, you know. I like making flyers because I like the art and design of it. We used to make tons of flyers for everything. We do like a radio appearance, we'd make flyers. So it's like we made these flyers with people would look at them and go, what does all this mean? I'm like, oh, that's a website. Like a website? Where is it? You know what I mean? Well, it's not a place really. That's how most people thought about the internet. It took a while for people to really get what it was about. But in the 90s, even though there was a lot of freedom online, it was a little bit like the Wild West. But there wasn't a lot there. There wasn't a lot there. In the early 90s anyway. By like 96, 97, when, you know, I did our site, people are like regular, everyday people are starting to use it like myself, you know. And then you had the good years, which like the late 90s, early 2000s, like I'd say the golden era for the internet, if I had to pinpoint it, I would say 95 to 2003, or maybe in 10 years. I might even go up to 2005, where they didn't have the ghettos together yet. Like now, you're ghettoized on the internet. There's very few places you go. You know, like before, you just pick a subject, you type it in the search bar, and you could go to so many different places of so many different sources. Now, even then, they were still trying to hoard you into these pens, like they had America Online, which is basically, the middleman to the internet. Like, log on your computer and we'll walk you through the internet. We'll show you where to go. So they tried to control your use of it. AOL, America Online, and they'd send these discs out in the mail. I'm sure many people have seen them. And, you know, people didn't really know what the internet was, so they'd get these things and go, oh, I guess you load this in. And they would hold their hand through the scary internet. You know, these companies tried to push this idea that it was like a dangerous place. Like, you don't know what could happen. Your ID could get caught. You could meet some bad people. Like it was dangerous. So you had to use AOL because they could safely let you experience the internet. It was bullshit. They just want to control it. So they've always been trying to control you. But now they have it so ghettoized to a point where you could log on and just go 3 or 4 places all day. And that's your internet experience. You know, look up anything. Go to Google and search a topic. No matter how many pages it says there are, like whatever 100 or whatever 1,000 of results they have for like a Toyota. It'll say like whatever, 5 million results. You're only going to get 10 pages before it stops. It's weird. Like, do it on anything. You can see this. It's only letting you go to the places that it wants you to go. And not only is it cutting out the other options, they're deleting other options or links to other options. It's shrinking. The internet's shrinking. It has been. So the idea that it's this forever archive, no, it's not. And that's good, I guess. There's a lot of embarrassing things that, you know, interviews are like stupid things I appeared on that are embarrassing. I'm glad they're gone. But, you know, there was a time when I would think that, like, wow, these things are there forever. Oh, what are you going to do? You know, you look like an ass. I mean, it wasn't anything too bad. It's just for me. Like, I don't, you know, a lot of people think that they're goofy. But all that stuff's gone. Like, it's all gone. It's just being deleted, you know. So yeah, it's not a forever archive. In no way, shape, or form. So don't worry about those party pictures from 2010. You're fine. Oh, I would love to get my hands on all the images that were on the internet at one time of like myself and friends and like music stuff and bands and stuff. Oh man, I'd love to have that stuff. At the time, you know, the thinking was it was a forever archive. So I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I'd see a cool photo layout of a show or something, be like, oh yeah, I'll get out. If I need those, I know where to get them. Or I'll come back and get those some other time. I never would. I never saved everything. I'd save some stuff, whatever we needed to put on social media and everything. So I think the things with me that gives me this perspective on it is the fact that it used to be part of my job, and then being involved in music and bands that we always had to self-promote with your own stuff. That's enabled me to notice how this stuff is just being dissolved. It's being deleted. No matter what it is, anytime there is something, whether it's God or the internet, where you could get freedom through knowledge, there's always going to be some motherfucker trying to get in between you and that, whether it's AOL or a holy man, quote unquote, trying to tell you, oh yeah, you want to experience this? Take my hand, I'll walk you through it. Why does your hand smell like a boy's locker room? Oh, don't worry about that, son. Just take my hand. And that's not how I want to end this. But I'm almost that long, so I guess, you know, same old. I always leave you in some kind of fucked up place. That's it, you know, what are you going to do? That's part of the fun. Till next time, thanks for dropping in. And don't blame the teacher, blame the school. Nice. Thanks, bud. I tried to get that from him earlier. He was making all kinds of noise, and I came over to film him, I guess, to be an annoying human, and he scurried off and nice. And he scurried off into the hedges there, but came back out, and there we have it. Thanks, bud. Can you give me another one? Just one more. You can do it. Come on, man. Come on, give it to me. I know you're not a trained monkey. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but one more. Can you give me one more? Come on. There we go. Thanks, man.